Please, draw me a sheep." It was the first thing I heard in the middle of the desert. My plane had crashed. There was nothing around me but sand. For days, I had been alone, and my water was running low. But the boy stood there as if none of this mattered, quietly looking at me. And he said again, "Please, draw me a sheep." Hello. This is Journey to Insight, JTI Tales. Today, we will read The Little Prince by the French writer Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. He was a pilot, flying alone across the night sky and desert in a time when even maps were incomplete. In an age when a single letter could take weeks, he carried messages and the weight of people's lives across the dark. But flying was always dangerous. The time he spent in isolation remains in his work. The crash in the desert was something that truly happened. This story was written during World War II. Technology had advanced, but people were becoming more isolated. Saint-Exupéry himself was in the middle of that war. France had fallen, and he stayed in the United States, where he wrote this story. Eventually, he returned to the war for a reconnaissance flight and never came back. Perhaps this story is not dramatic, but closer to a quiet tragedy. And because of that, it remains in a simple form in front of us. The Little Prince may look like a story for children, but in truth, it is a story about what adults have forgotten. It speaks about what we truly value and about adults who loved but did not know how to love. I tried to draw a sheep, but I could not draw well, so I remembered a drawing from my childhood. It was a sketch of a boa constrictor that had swallowed an elephant. Adults looked at that drawing and said, "It's a hat." So I stopped drawing. But the boy looked at it and said, "That's not what I asked for. Please draw me a sheep." He was not looking at the outside, but at what was inside. I tried again to draw a sheep, but he said, "I don't want a sick sheep." So I drew a box. "The sheep you want is inside this box." And for the first time, the boy smiled. The story begins here. I continued trying to fix my plane. Under the burning sun of the day and the cold air of the night, I counted the water I had left and survived each day. But the boy kept talking to me. He asked strange questions. Do sheep eat a lot of grass? Why do flowers have thorns? I did not understand his questions. But as I answered them, I slowly came to understand him. The little prince lived on a very small planet, small enough to walk around in a single day. There were 3 volcanoes, and if baobab trees began to grow, they could take over the whole planet. So every day, he checked the young sprouts and pulled them out before they grew. One day, a seed drifted in and began to grow. The little prince felt this flower was different. So, he carefully watched it grow. The flower did not bloom quickly. It chose its colors carefully, shaped each petal one by one, and waited for the moment to become beautiful. One morning, with the rising sun, the flower finally revealed itself. The planet filled with its fragrance. It was a presence that could not be ignored. But the flower was not gentle. It asked to be protected, yet it spoke in ways that made things difficult. Sometimes it tried to appear more special, and its words confused the little prince. The little prince gave it water, placed a glass cover over it, protected it from the wind, and listened to everything it said. But over time, he became tired. The flower wanted to be loved, but did not know how to say it. Instead of speaking with warmth, it tested him and pushed him away. The little prince did not understand. He was too young, and he listened more to the tone of its words than to its heart. So he began to believe the words the flower left behind rather than its feelings. It was beautiful but difficult, precious but not peaceful. That is what the flower became to him. And he began to wonder, do I really love this flower? Does it truly care about me? But the truth was, the flower had always seen him as special. On that small planet, it existed only for him, waiting for his gaze, living through his care. But the flower did not know how to love, and the little prince did not know how to understand love. So they cared for each other, yet hurt each other. In the end, he decided to leave. The flower was too beautiful and too difficult for him to stay. Only as he was leaving, the flower said it was sorry. But the little prince was too inexperienced to understand even that apology. Leaving without understanding, perhaps this is something we have all done. He began traveling to other planets. A king who ruled only with orders. A vain man who wanted only admiration. A businessman who counted numbers all day. He claimed all the stars as his own, but had never once truly looked at them. The little prince said, "Adults are very strange. They believe they possess things, but in truth, they possess nothing important." And then he arrived on Earth. The first being he met was a yellow snake, speaking in riddles. After walking alone for a long time, he found a field full of roses. The belief that his flower was unique began to collapse, and the little prince started to cry. Then he met a fox. From a distance, the fox watched him. "Will you play with me?" asked the little prince. "I cannot," said the fox. "I am not tamed." "What does it mean to be tamed?" asked the little prince. "It means to create ties," said the fox. "Before that, we are nothing to each other. But once we are tamed, we become unique to one another. If you tame me, I will be the only one for you, and you will be the only one for me." The little prince tried to understand. The fox did not rush. "Come at the same time each day. Sit a little closer each time. Wait. That is how we begin to know each other." Through time, they became special, and the little prince tamed the fox. When it was time to leave, the fox felt like crying. "I do not eat bread, so wheat meant nothing to me. But now it is different. Your hair is golden, like wheat. so when the wind moves the fields, I will remember you. What is essential is invisible to the eye. The little prince kept those words in his heart, and he understood why his flower was special. It was not the only flower in the world, but because he had cared for it, spent time with it, it became unique to him. He realized it was not the flower's words, but the time it had stayed with him that mattered. And that love can be awkward and difficult to understand. Love becomes special through time and relationship. So he decided to return. With the memory of the fox and the time with the pilot, he prepared to leave. Watching him, I felt uneasy. Was he really leaving this place? Or would I never see him again? He said, stars mean different things to different people. To some, they are just lights. To others, they are something to study. But because I am on one of them, you will have stars that know how to laugh. It sounded like comfort, but also like a farewell. The little prince went to find the snake he had met before. He knew he needed its help to return. And then, in the sand, I saw a flash of yellow. There was no sound. I could not say anything. And after that day, I learned something. Goodbyes are not about disappearing. They are about no longer being seen. This story was never meant for children. It was always for adults. Each time we return to it, we feel something different through the eyes we have now. We grow up and learn many things, but often forget what truly matters. That we have tamed someone, and that we are responsible for that relationship. The little prince asks us, what is truly important to you? And are you still responsible for what you have tamed? As I read this story again, those questions stayed with me. If this video spoke to you, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This was JTI Tales. Thank you.